What are you going to do next?
So basically, we've seen the gaps. The gaps they are big. The gaps they exist on many levels. It has to do with our roots that are fundamentally different. It has to do with the role of philosophy that shaped our way of thinking, of reasoning, of argumentation, which is fundamentally different from Japan. There is a different attitude towards risk taking, risk acceptance, change, and individualism versus conformity. There's a difference in management style. There's a difference in the level of patience, how people are explicit versus implicit. There is a language barrier, and there is a corporate culture that is different. So if you put all these things together, I believe that the conclusion can only be that the gap is very, very big. So what can we do? So what kind of recommendations can we give to Japan if they want to seriously keep in touch with Europe and maintain their position in the global economy?
This is you just prepared many issues, but still, I'm not clear. Okay,
you're not clear.
You can prepare gaps, but this
Right.
is very part of gaps. More heavy background differences we should have. What is that? This is history.
Okay, so as part of the gap is our clear difference in history. Okay, of course we have a completely different history, but I think that
Or
what
lifestyle.
we can say about that.
Lifestyle. Even talking about food.
No, because I don't think it really matters.
Really?
Hmm.
Islam.
Is that a gap to
Islam people is very important food.
But it's an opportunity. I think it's not so much.
No, you don't understand well. Okay, if you go outside Japan and I take Japanese people, they can sustain for more than 3 days without Japanese food. Yeah.
No, it's not that they don't sustain Japanese food. It's
Okay,
basically
yeah.
they do not want to step out of their culture.
Okay,
For
the
more
other
than
question.
3 days.
The other question. Why the global convention and some meeting? Why Japanese people get together only Japanese people for dinner?
Because they do not feel comfortable. They feel that because the gap that exists, they don't know how to overcome it, because there is the language gap, there is the cultural gap, there's the historical gap, they have a different viewpoint. They really need to make an effort to actually even communicate, to be there, to understand what's going on. I think that they, as Japanese, they very easily feel isolated, uncomfortable, incompetent, in order to keep up. And once they are back in their own circle, they can appreciate the other person because they think the same. They can compare their status relative to the other people in their group. So they not only feel comfortable, but they also feel more appreciated, and they can regain self-confidence.
Oh, they can gain self-confidence?
Regain self-confidence.
Japanese people get together much more better with Asian people.
Right, because they don't feel uncomfortable there because they kind of feel superior.
With white people, inferiority, they feel?
I think so. Or at least they feel that they are sane, but they cannot catch up with the Western way of doing things. And since they cannot dictate the Japanese way of doing things on Western society, because they are by far outnumbered by all the businesses and opportunities that exist outside of Japan, that they will feel the need that they actually need to adapt, or otherwise they cannot play along. Adapting to Western ideas based on the gap that I just gave is extremely hard, and it will really require you to not only work hard but also accept the fact that you are actually need to go back a few steps, and you are basically a little kid again and need to kind of get to know the world. And if you want to do that after you have worked so hard and diligently to become successful and a well-respected businessman within the Japanese society, then you need to come back and you are a rookie again. You are new.
You say what?
A rookie.
Rookie.
A rookie is somebody who just starts. That is a kind of humbleness that you will need to be able to accept. Are you willing to do that? I think all the things about food, I cannot go without food, those are just excuses for a much deeper rooted problem. Everybody can go without Japanese food for more than 3 days.
Takashi is living in Vietnam, just only among Vietnamese. Takashi, are you here?
Okay.
Say something.
You're asking, I feel like isolated?
Yeah, okay, what is your question, Uno-san? That's
Yeah, this kind of weird clothing gaps among European people and Japanese. Right? How do you think about it?
Japanese.
Yeah.
The Japanese and others.
Right. You are working there. You are alone, Japanese alone among Vietnamese. And maybe you and Vietnamese have no gaps much, like European people. And multicultural issues we have, especially big problem between Japanese and European people. But usually Japanese and Asian people, we don't have any problem at all.
how come?
How do you think? Or how come?
Are you saying no difference between Japan and Asian countries?
The Japanese feel more comfortable doing business in Asia than they do doing business in Europe or the United States.
Or do you have any gaps among Vietnamese?
Yeah, if you compare the gaps between Japan and Europe and the one between Japan and Asian countries, yeah, obviously Japan and Asia has less.
What I want to ask is how much of that could be traced back to the fact that Japanese could feel superior to Southeast Asians versus Japanese could feel inferior towards Americans and Europeans.
Yeah, I think true. Yes.
So one of the reasons I think it's probably hard for Japanese businessmen to become effective negotiators is that given all those gaps and given the fact that the power of balance in the international community, which is completely dominated by the English-speaking, is an English-speaking culture, right? So that the English-speaking culture is not only the language, but it's also the way that we do business. It's so for a lot of Japanese businessmen, negotiators, they will need to adjust themselves to that standard. And the closer you come to the United States, the bigger the gaps become in the culture, and the more comfortable that people actually become in the language and in that culture. So that means that a lot of Japanese business people, they will feel like they are juniors again. They are not well respected